Hello there. It is now dawning on people that decades of politicians have completely failed them on UK energy security, and those politicians are going to continue doing the same thing tomorrow. It looks like the energy price cap, designed to prevent ordinary folk from being ripped off over energy prices, is going to be lifted until we're paying the equivalent of £4,500 a year to be able to heat our homes and cook our food. And all because successive governments have decided that the proletariat having access to cheap energy is bad for the planet. And right now all we hear about is ways of shuffling the deck chairs of money about while the whole thing sinks beneath us because we won't fire up the pumps to bail the incoming water out, because to do so would destroy the planet, they wail. Just as we hear that China has authorised the mining of another 300 million tonnes of coal a year to fuel their ever-burgeoning number of fossil-fuelled electricity generating stations. That's right, Beijing has no intention of sticking to its own climate change commitments. At the end of last month, it approved the construction of another 8.5 gigawatts of coal power. While in this country, another nuclear reactor, Hinkley Point B1, has reached end of life and has been shut down without replacement. And while the Chinese happily get on with burning coal and the UK shuts power units down, we have governments and climate activists who are determined to target our elderly and vulnerable young people with swingeing green targets that are causing all this cost of living crisis. Because they won't drill for more oil and gas in this country to help get costs down. And because all they've done is listen to wind turbine and solar panel vested interests by piling huge green levies onto our bills and saying, "Suck it up, proles." And look at all those wasted decades when we could have been investing in and building proper nuclear plants that would have done away with all this nonsense. All sacrificed on the altar of the wind turbine and solar panel. And all the money's gone with it. And while the two Tory leadership hopefuls point to the deck chairs they would shift about on the sinking SS UK, there will be no talk about anything concrete. Except the concrete they still intend be poured into any remaining gas and oil wells to seal them up permanently. They will talk about it, but there will be no fracking or any more drilling to speak of. Net zero rules everything. For the average family out there, the best investment you can make today is to buy warm thermal clothing and blankets while you can still get them relatively cheaply. Come winter, the price of them will have skyrocketed. And don't just blame the Tories. Labour, the Lib Dems and the Greens are all as culpable for lining up in the lobbies to vote through every green law that they can lay their hands on over the decades and then preen themselves with their green credentials in front of the world's press, while the likes of China and Russia look on in amazement, laughing their cotton socks off. And worse, the original talk about all this lasting a year is beginning to stretch out now to 2 years, and the projected costs to families is creeping up by the day. How anyone can think that the Tories are going to weather the political storm this winter and prevail at the next general election is beyond me. The truth is that none of the MPs and Lords in Westminster deserve a seat on those green and red benches after collectively delivering what will be the winter from hell for millions in this country. But we all know that when blue fails, the reds get in, and vice versa. We really deserve what we get by voting the same jokers in time after time, don't we?